the most vile client I've ever dealt with and how I handled her. So this is one of the tougher clients that I ever dealt with, and it was one of those enlightened types who likes to run around singing koombaya and telling everybody how centered and egoless they are. Of course, those people usually end up being the most intolerant and judgmental and emotional people you'll meet. Anyway, her site had this weird setup where she wanted people to only access a certain lesson for 72 hours or something like that. It was part of her marketing and monetization strategy. Anyway, she hired me to write the plugin that did all of the checking and the timing and whatnot. So I did, and everything was fine. And then a few weeks later, she came back and she said she was having problems with the timer getting triggered early before she had made these time-limited posts available on her site. So I said I would look into it because obviously I knew something I could have done something wrong. So I looked into it to see what was wrong with the plugin. And I immediately saw that the posts that she was talking about, they were actually already live on her site. They weren't like drafts or hadn't been published yet. They were published and they were always published. And she would just unlink them from her navigation. And that was her sort of way of not making them live and not live on the site. Well, any sort of developer knows that there are all sorts of back doors into those posts. There's category listings that people can find. There's search. Hell, there's even just a direct link if someone posted in a forum or something like that. And so there's all sorts of ways that those timers could be getting triggered outside of the plugin that I had written for her to do that specific thing. And so I told her all this and I gave her several suggestions on what we could do. But she didn't want to hear it. She was convinced it was the plugin. So we went back and forth like this for a few weeks, and I even hired another developer that I trusted on my own dime to look through everything and tell me what he thought. And I didn't give him any indication of what I thought it was or anything like that. I wanted his pure, honest opinion. And he came back with the exact same conclusion that I did. But still, she wouldn't accept it. So I was starting to get to my end of my rope with all of this. And then one day she forwarded me an email thread between her and one of her staff members about some idea that they had about what they could do or whatever. What she didn't realize is it contained the entire thread that her and that staff member had back and forth. And about three emails before she forwarded it to me, there was her calling me every name in the book, as these enlightened types tend to do. And it was some of the most vile stuff you'll ever hear come out of someone's mouth. So I wrote her back because I wasn't having it. I copy and pasted the message she wrote, that nasty message, and I said, I'm done, effective immediately. Of course, she emailed me back almost immediately. She was apologizing profusely and begging me to stay on. But I told her no, I was done. I wasn't going to put up with that. She even contacted me again almost 6 months later, begging me to let her hire me again. But I said no. Now, the point of all of this is you shouldn't and you don't have to put up with this kind of BS. Despite what the cliche says, the client is not always right. Sometimes they're horribly, horribly wrong, and you shouldn't pretend like they aren't. The money isn't worth it, and you'll drive yourself insane dealing with people like this. And you're really doing them a disservice as well. Of course, the thing about it is I was able to fire like that because at the time, I was getting so many invites to other projects, I literally picked up a new client to replace her the next day. And that's the power of knowing how to get clients and what it can give you. You can tell a nasty client to piss off because you know you can easily replace them. It's not just peace of mind and job security, it's control. Control over who you work with and on what terms. And it's really freedom because it's incredibly liberating. Anyway, that's what I teach you in my Upwork 101 course, how to build your way towards this kind of control and freedom. By having so many incoming client requests, you can literally pick and choose who you work with. And when that happens, you can charge what you want. You don't have to deal with nasty clients. Clients are usually tend to be easier to work with because they recognize your authority, and this whole freelancing thing just gets a hell of a lot easier. Anyway, if you wanted to give it a shot and learn what I have showed others, then the link to get started for nothing is over at upwork101.com. You'll see a big yellow button there that says start your 2-month trial of Skillshare. And you click that button, you'll get 2 months of Skillshare absolutely free. You'll get full access to my Upwork 101 course, plus all my other courses, plus 20,000 other courses on the site. You get full access to free for 2 months. You can cancel any time before the 2 months is up, and you'll never pay a penny. So I think it's at least worth giving a shot. Again, the link, upwork101.com. All right, that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.